Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. And after OpTic refused to do their interview this past weekend for their CDL match up against the Florida Mutineers, a man that knows a thing or two about fines from the CDL, that being Octane, reckons that OpTic will get fined for this, but he definitely stands with their decision to boycott these CDL interviews. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. First of all, I'm a little bit confused what's going on here by Doug, but he's back at it again. Observing the community and how it interprets how winning in Call of Duty works disappoints me. I blame Shotzzy for being unreal with movement and aBeZy for being an aggro sub for this culture. So, you know, I guess talking about these guys are just so built different individually and mechanically, like ability-wise, they can get away with stuff that other players might not be able to get away with. Goes on to say this scene really thinks about kills and movement over positioning. I need to hop on the flank and teach these new gens a little more about how to win, more so over how to look cool. So interesting concept from Doug. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really think he's trying to teach Shotzzy and aBeZy anything here, but I guess he's trying to get the point across that just because, you know, you aren't a Shotzzy or an aBeZy level player doesn't mean you can't, you know, position yourself in other ways. It's kind of like that classic thing in Counter-Strike where people say, don't play, if you're an AWPer in Counter-Strike, don't play like Simple, play like Device, because Simple has the unbelievable movement and mechanics and abilities to pull off what he pulls off. But if you want to be a really solid AWPer for anyone who's actually human at the game, then you need to play in another way. And maybe that's kind of what Doug's getting across here. But yeah, apparently this Thursday he's going to be on the flank. So yeah, please tune into the flank on Thursday. So he's going to be teaching the entire community, including Shotzzy and aBeZy, how to win, because of course Doug knows more about you know, those guys. But you know, in fairness, he hasn't been dropping the numbers, but he's been getting some decent results so far this season on that Boston Academy roster. Quick note on this, because Hitch is putting on this Warzone Worlds Classic tournament with 32 countries around the world competing in it. Now, Krim says this, I don't imagine there's actually an Algerian team. Maybe there is, it'd be pretty cool. But yeah, Krim reckons representing Algeria in the Warzone World Classic. I asked Paco, that being Hydra, to team, but he said no. Need one Algerian Beetleback Desert Demon by the end of the night. Let me know. Now, Hydra actually comes back here and says, you know, down to play, let me know. So this is the tournament going on today and tomorrow. The $100,000 World Series, or, you know, Warzone World Classic is doing pretty cool stuff. World Cup idea. And I think a lot of the teams are filling up fast. Now, he couldn't get every team in every country, and unfortunately, but, you know, I think he's trying his best to make it work for everyone around the world. And as Hydra says, down to play, let me know. And Krim then kind of shows the clip from the flank where he says, you're dead to me. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, Krim and Hydra, the beef is still continuing. We saw just the other day where he mentioned that, you know what, Priester and Skies, good luck playing with this Hydra guy this season, because you're not going to have a fun time. And so far, you know, it's not looking so good for New York, right? They're starting off 0-2. I mean, look, the start of last season for New York was tragic enough. This season should surely be better than that. I mean, last season they went, what, like 13 hard points in a row before they won one. They've at least won a hard point so far this season, so maybe it's going to be a little bit better. But yeah, Krim and Hydra are still going at it. This also on the FaZe front, though, was pretty funny. If you guys remember this classic picture from a couple of years ago with, you know, Slash is sitting here reading this Mark Manson book, The Subtle Art of etc, etc. He's actually given it to Cellium as well. He looks pretty happy with it. So yeah, clearly Slash is instilling some of his ways on this new team. This from Scrappy also on the FaZe guys, because as you can see here, FaZe are obviously playing from some sort of facility or whatever, and Classic is their sub this year, right? So they're playing some sort of Money 8s or whatever's happening here, and Classic is on Mohawk's team with a grand total of 1 ping. Now, we saw the other day that Scump, I think, was on 1 ping from their setup in Dallas, and seemingly whatever server they are on, presumably the Atlanta server here, they're playing this game on, they, well, they have quad 1 ping. So Scrappy reckons Atlanta has quad 1 ping on that server. They don't even flinch up to 2 ping, so, you know, it was mind-blowing yesterday. So, yeah, I don't know. What they've got to make sure, the CDL, I guess, is that whenever FaZe play, they're not playing online on this particular server, because that might give them something of an advantage, as you can possibly see. Let's talk about the OpTic stuff then. Of course, Scump did the interview after the fact as well. This was not the interview live on the broadcast. This was kind of their own interview behind the scenes. Interesting concept really from OpTic now. Maybe they're going to say, you know what, screw the CDL interviews on the broadcast. We're going to do them ourselves, which, you know, I don't know how long they're going to keep this up for, whether they're going to keep boycotting the media on this for the time being. But they dodged the interview this past weekend, and it caused quite a lot of controversy within the community. Octane reacted to this and was first of all pretty surprised they did it, and was saying, like, yeah, pretty typical, like, that they actually went down and did this. And well, he kind of respects it in one way, but he also says that, yeah, more than likely a fine will be coming through the post for these OpTic guys sooner rather than later.
Can you get fined for random interviews? Yeah, they'll get fined. Best match was clearly OpTic versus Rokkr. Dude, OpTic fans are never gonna let that go ever for the rest of man. And then OpTic declines the interview, dude. The drama. Oh, the drama ensues, dude. I can't believe they declined the interview. That's so typical. That's so typical. We won that. I don't give up. I'm out of here. Don't look at me in my eyes, CDL. I'm out of here. The pettiness is just so respectable. No, man. I would have done the interview and stared at the cam until they cut it. Dude, I can't believe that they declined the interview. That's some petty. I tipped that. I tipped that. Oh.
So Octane, of course, is a man that knows a thing or two about getting fined by the CDL. I'm pretty sure back in Modern Warfare 2019, I think he had more in fines. I think he tweeted out that he'd been fined more money than he made in prize money for the season, which is quite something. And this was one of the classic examples here of many tweets. I mean, look at this. Like, I don't know what video I made on this at the time, but I'm sure it would have been pretty entertaining. So, yeah, Octane eventually deleted these tweets and got fined out his, out his ears, let's just say, for stuff like this. But yeah, what's going to happen with OpTic in this case? Because I'm sure there is some sort of contractual arrangement where they have to do a CDL interview, like because otherwise the pros just wouldn't bother doing it, right? I'm sure it's written down somewhere in the contracts that they've got to, if they win a game, they've got to do an interview, or something, the team has to do an interview or whatever. They've not done it, obviously, here from the OpTic guys after that series against Florida to show their disapproval against what the CDL did in that earlier match. And it's caused some questions. Is it being too soft? Is it taking a stand? Personally, I don't have too much of an opinion, more than just like I kind of like the drama, so that just is what it is for me. But as Octane went on to say that a fine will be coming through. Now, it's not going to be to the players necessarily, because it's not like one player necessarily has to do the interviews and they're contractually obliged. It's more like a team obligation. So I imagine that Hex or Hastra or whatever will be covering this fine. But just because it is going to go to the team, will they slap another couple of zeros on the fine? I don't know exactly how it's going to work or how much these fines even are, because I think Octane, I think his fines back in Modern Warfare totaled maybe 10 grand or something. Like, he had quite a few incidents like this. I think he made 10, maybe it was 10 grand, or maybe it was only 2 grand, because I think Seattle Surge was so bad in Modern Warfare they made 10 grand total prize money, and then Octane tweeted out that he'd been fined more than he made in prize money. So maybe that was the 2k cut, like 1/5 of the 10k. So maybe he got fined 2k. I don't know, but still, Octane, a veteran of the CDL fining community, obviously kind of standing by what OpTic are doing here. And I just do wonder how long they'll continue this. Will it keep going for an awful long period of time, or will they say, you know what, next week let's just get back in business again? Because at some point they've got to get back on friendly terms with the league. But I don't know. Clearly it's going to stick around in the memory for a long time to come. Shotzzy did say in the video that we looked at earlier today that they're trying to move on. They're going to put that behind them and look forwards, which they're going to need to do if it's not going to affect their season. But at least they come out of the week relatively unscathed, all things considered. Speaking of another really funny thing, we've got to talk about this clip from Clayster and co. So last night they were playing with Hacky, Nadeshot and BoZe. So Clay and BoZe back on the same team with Nadeshot in the core is always a good time. So they were playing it for nukes last night in the Warzone side. They were taking a day off. Scrims Monday's usually the day off that the pros take. Now 9 years ago, you guys may have seen or remember this clip when it was Nadeshot, BoZe, Clayster and Scump was the team of 4 they were running with at the time. And they had this legendary argument back and forth here while they were playing on Octane Blitz. They spawned in, and I think this is like the ponytail, like WWE star, I think is what BoZe says. So anyway, I'll share the clip here, and then I'll share the modern day reincarnation where they pretty much run it back with the drama and finish off the argument 9 or so years later back in the same call.
Bond, and instead of going back to the base, he ran a blue tar.
Had the cap.
Can't hear you over all my championships.
You and your championship, bitch.
Am I just gonna have to take some of your food away when I get up to the house? Dude.
I hear when you say dumb shit that you ponytail bitch, you WWE star.
If you think running blue tarp when there's 12 seconds left is a good play, you are a lot dumber than I thought, Emmos.
Well, we can finally settle the blue tarp debate, dude. We can finally settle it, dude.
Everyone, bro, I'm 100%. There's like no debate.
You had 0 chance of making it to their
Not
point.
true. It's not true.
0%. At least there was 1% chance you could have thrown a nade and stopped the cap, bro.
Yeah, no, it's not how you
0%
do
or
it.
1%. That's all.
No, it's not. No.
So very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. A couple of things to just finish out here with. Clayster came up with this. There's some sort of, you know, I don't exactly know what this game is. People have been doing it where there's a beat that happens and then you have to get the timing right after the beat disappears. And the first try I did on this, I got like 866 or something, I think. But anyway, so Methods comes out and he gets the 882. So I think a pretty good score, to be honest. And then Beans comes out in the replies and gets an 883. So this is just hilarious because obviously Methods right now knows, well, not necessarily knows, but like Beans has been obviously doing rather well in the challenger side, and people have been wondering, like, you know, what's it going to take for Boston to put Beans in? It would probably take some underperformance from their ARs. Methods probably knows that, you know, his spot is not exactly safe, let's say, for the season, depending on what happens, because he already has experience of what happened in a similar situation with Insight way back in Cold War, right, when he was dropped after, you know, before Major 2, I think, for Insight. Worked out rather well for them then. So Methods is going to be grinding hard to ensure that doesn't happen again. But some people are saying, oh, you know what, Beans could be an upgrade in this way and then that way. I think it would be difficult for like leadership and stuff. I'm not exactly sure how that would work for Boston. And right now they're top of the league and absolutely frying. So they've got no issues and worries. But yeah, just the fact that Beans got one more score and then as Method says, you know, shaking my head, incoming Reddit post, you know, asked for me to get dropped. And just speaking of Boston, right, this is their week. So looking at their week, they have a very good chance to be the #1 seed. They've already gone 2-0, taking down FaZe in their first series, then winning their second series without too much difficulty as well. And then this week they play New York, that you know, New York are not looking particularly good, and then they play LAG. So in terms of a run, like Boston have a pretty, not a clear run to the #1 seeds, but it's not too bad at all. Like the only other 2-0 teams, so Minnesota are 2-0 right now, and they play Florida and Vegas. They've also got a pretty good run. London play OpTic and they play Seattle, so that's far from easy. So you know, we'll see how London actually fare against some of the better teams, because London looked way better than we thought, but they haven't played, like, you know, they played LAG and they played New York, right? Like not exactly spectacular teams, let's say. So yeah, we'll see how this transpires next weekend. But Boston, a #1 seed, will make for a really interesting setup, because we're going to have a few good teams that are probably going to be 2-2. All these teams make the groups, right? Because it's, you know, 4 groups of 4 teams with 4 amateur teams as well rounding out the groups. So all teams are going to be in the groups, but we could have some seriously stacked groups if it's going to be like Boston #1 seeds, Minnesota #2 seeds. Like, you know, that means we're going to get some really big groups. It's going to make things really spicy, but very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.